Gianno Caldwell, Fox News political analyst, Kevin Walling, former Biden campaign surrogate, and we see pictures on the screen of the governor who is fighting the civil rights organization's claims about his state. It is fascinating. I want to, while we get the panel in play here, bring in some more facts. Florida public schools, according to the state education department, are required by law to teach students about the enslavement experience, abolition, the civil rights movement, the history and contributions of Americans of the African diaspora, and students shall develop an understanding of the ramifications of prejudice, racism, and stereotyping on individual freedoms. And by the way, Governor DeSantis, gentlemen, stand by. I started this. I'm going to finish with the facts. Governor DeSantis just signed a bill to add to the curriculum the 1920 Ocoee massacre, in which Black Floridians were killed by a mob. Oh, they're learning in Florida in schools all about experiences with the Black community and communities of color, but the NAACP apparently does not agree. Gianno, I'm coming to you first for your top line thoughts.
You know, the NAACP has gone from a premier organization known as the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People to the National Association for the Advancement of the Democratic Party. It is absolutely shameful, the stunt in which they're pushing. I live in the state of Florida. I live in Miami. And I can tell you there are a lot of Black folks who are here, who are thriving, doing well, and inviting their friends and family to come here and live. The facts are simply the facts. This is the #1 place in the entire nation for Black business owners who have employees. They're thriving here. And how dare the NAACP bring politics in so they can do Biden's bidding? It's shameful. Shame on you, NAACP.
One Democratic strategist praised the controversial travel warning on MSNBC yesterday. Let's watch, and Kevin, I'll come to you.
This is getting to the point where Florida is about to be a terrorist state to many of us here in America. Certainly as a lesbian, as a Black woman, I don't want to have anything to do with the place. And I think about all the other people who don't want to travel there either. And so I think it was very clever on behalf of the NAACP. I thank them for issuing this broad guidance.
Kevin, a terrorist state? I mean, this is now beyond the pale, against the facts.
Yeah, I agree, Harris. Listen, I think these kind of boycotts, these kind of travel advisories never really work when red states declare war on blue states and blue states declaring war on red states.
But that's not what's happening. A civil rights organization which played an important role in the 1960s.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Is coming into politics. This isn't red versus blue. This is hate versus red.
Well, listen, Harris, I think the NAACP is trying to figure out a way to elevate this conversation and drawing, an idea and views towards some of what the governor has passed in this last legislative session.
So what is the conversation?
Tallahassee.
What is the conversation? Because I just read to you everything from the education department, right? And I didn't even bring this into bear with you, but I said it with Ashley Webster. National aptitude tests. I mean, that's how we scored children across the country. Black 8th graders last year, 2022, in Florida scored higher than the national figures and those in the NAACP's headquarters of Maryland. I mean, what is the goal here?
Well, I think the goal, seriously, for the governor, I think the governor actually benefits from this fight with the NAACP because it raises his profile on the national stage in light of his announcement in the coming days. So, but, we're seeing, back in February before this session started in Tallahassee, he was trailing the president by about 13 points, former President Trump by about 13 points. Now that's a 30-point gap, coming out of this legislative session. He was at a speech yesterday in Orlando where he kind of mentioned on the sidelines his abortion ban, his 6-week abortion ban that he passed. So again, the governor, I think, is taking all these actions to audition for this upcoming primary campaign, and we'll see how it plays out both in his home state and on the national stage.
You pivoted beyond the conversation because it's tough to talk about the NAACP on the left.
Well, we have to talk about it through the lens of his national campaign.
How disappointing it must be that they really are not, in effect, going to Chicago, Gianno, where Blacks actually and people of color actually could use a voice in the fight against crime against them. Your last quick word.
Advocacy, absolutely. And we got to be honest about this conversation here. The NAACP is doing a disservice to Black people all across the country on this very topic. You have black businesses that might suffer being lambs to the slaughter because of your political moves. It's just like the Democratic Party. They push out policy and it demoralizes and marginalizes black people. You talk about school choice, how they're against that. You talk about the crime, how they're not pushing for policies to ensure that district attorneys are going to prosecute crime. The whole country is under attack, and black folks are suffering at the brunt of the Democratic Party, and now the NAACP has become an ally on that fight for them.
MLB All-Star Game really, really hurt.
$100 million.
When the left pulled out, said, nope, we're going to boycott this. I mean, Kevin, those people were hurt. They were hurt. People of color, the NAACP now willing to double down and do something similar in Florida. It is confounding. And really bad politics, as Kevin laid out. It helps out the governor of Florida. Good to see you both. Thank you.
Thanks, Harris.
Good to be with you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.